Just when you think it's safe, just when you think that you've seen it all, you haven't. So, are you ready for a new nightmare scenario? The highly dangerous Cascadia subduction zone is linked to the overdue San Andreas, and both could trigger a mega-quake along the U.S. West Coast. Hey everybody, Giant Storm Don't Speak. Time for some fear porn. Remember, we don't have a spirit of fear here because God doesn't give us that, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So let's just get into this. This is a new nightmare, so-called nightmare scenario that they're looking at, where the Cascadia subduction zone up here off the coast of Washington and Oregon primarily, and up into Canada and Northern California. We all know that could generate a huge tsunami after a magnitude 9 earthquake. And then, we're looking at new coastlines. But now they're saying that it could join up with the San Andreas up here in Northern California and have a huge mega-quake and go all the way down to the Mexican border and possibly a little beyond. So now, a relatively new earthquake research tool sounds like a B movie plot, and indeed there was a B movie made about this. We'll cover that in a minute. It indeed argues that two of the West Coast's biggest earthquake faults may have far more interaction than previously thought. According to geologists, an earthquake on the Cascadia subduction zone could trigger a similar shaker on the San Andreas to the south, and thus create a giant seismic event along the entire U.S. West Coast. Both dangerous earthquake zones are overdue for a big and deadly one, and that's true. The Cascadia and the San Andreas are both overdue. So now what happens if they join up? And we have a giant mega-quake along the whole western seaboard here. Wow. So anyway, that's a nightmare scenario. A great earthquake along the Pacific Northwest offshore Cascadia Fault triggers another great earthquake on the northern San Andreas Fault. In what may be a case of where science catches up to the fertile imagination of Hollywood scriptwriters, attendees at a major Earth science meeting in San Francisco will hear evidence that this cascade of disaster happened many times over the past couple of millennia. It says, Cascadia is big enough itself, says Goldfinger, a professor of geology and geophysics at the university. But if you add in San Francisco on the North Coast, it is literally almost a grade B movie scenario that people don't want to think about that much. Yes, a major earthquake from the offshore Cascadia subduction zone could trigger California's famous San Andreas Fault. And those are two of the most dangerous seismic regions in the U.S. There you go. There's a scenario laid out for you. And they say there's an active link there. So, because Goldfinger says he's been studying this Cascadia zone, subduction zone, for years. The fault runs roughly 600 miles off the west coast from Northern California to British Columbia, like we just discussed. Now, the two faults, they actually meet in an area known as the Mendocino Triple Junction. Now, Goldfinger's found evidence that a quake on one could trigger a quake on the other, in essence, making for one giant seismic event that would span the entire west coast of the U.S. Wow. And there's Triple Junction he's talking about right there. Yeah, that could very easily, I could see that transferring very quickly, especially if you're looking at a 9 plus here. Wow. Now, the new results stem from analysis of sediment core from the Mendocino Triple Junction area. Those cores, pulled from canyons on the ocean floor, show evidence of earthquakes in the form of underwater landslides. Using carbon dating, Goldfinger found that nearly a dozen earthquakes occurred throughout history on both faults at the same time. Moreover, the analysis found no evidence for the stress transfer working in reverse from south to north. So, yeah, there you go. One fault triggering another. Huh. You have a subduction zone going into a strike-slip fault. That's new and very interesting indeed. And here's the movie they're talking about. Back in 2004, the NBC miniseries titled 10.5 actually brought this scenario to prime time. The first rupture toppled Seattle Space Needle, and stronger aftershocks collapsed the Golden Gate Bridge too, while at the end, part of California fell into the ocean. At the time, West Coast earthquake experts dismissed the miniseries as impossible and mythical fiction. Well, not so much anymore. And I've seen clips of this on YouTube. You can, if you look it up, you'll be able to find it. There's lots and lots of clips from the movie, and maybe you can find the movie itself. So, as shown by the new scientific results, the miniseries is possibly prescient about one thing. A major quake from the offshore Cascadia fault zone could trigger California's infamous San Andreas. There's still a lot to be learned, of course, but now they're not taking it so lightly. And there you go. New nightmare scenario indeed. And we know there's going to be lots and lots of earthquakes in diverse places, and they're going to get worse and more intense as time goes on, as we get further into the tribulation hour. So, nightmare scenario indeed. I'll keep my eyes on that, see if I find the updates as time goes on. In the meantime, there's a new channel called Don't Speak 3 on YouTube. I'm going to start putting videos up there probably later tonight, if not, then first thing in the morning. But I want you guys to know about it. I'm going to put the link in the comments so you can subscribe to it and bookmark it, whatever you want to do. I'm also going to put it up on the channel dashboard. I'll probably put it, well, there's a YouTube tab up here, YouTube channel tab. So I'll just put it under here. Right now, it's linked to the backup channel that you're on. Of course, the main channel went poof about 6 weeks ago. So I'll probably start uploading some of the older videos from that channel that are still pertinent to today, that hopefully won't get deleted and get us struck on the new channel. But I want to start getting it populated with some videos soon. So tonight or tomorrow morning, I'll start doing that. But I will put the link in the comments so you guys can find it. Go ahead and mark it, subscribe, click the bell and all that stuff. And I'll put the link here on the website, don'tspeaknews.com. Just click the YouTube channel, and I'll put that link underneath here. All right. Well, that's it for now. I wanted to report on something different besides the coronavirus. So here's something different and something still pertinent to the times that we're in. Because if you look, in fact, let's just take a look real quick while I got you here. Yeah, the earthquakes are still quite active. In fact, we had just had a 6.1 in the Philippines again, 20.6 kilometers in depth. And then right over here, they're saying this is an ancient fault line that's just been reactivated. So we'll see. But a lot of shaking going on the Nevada-California border. So I will keep my eyes on things as always. God bless. Take care. Johnny Storm. Don't speak.